The Isis. Where barges once bumbled and rowers now roar, are the River Isis, or, as the rest of the world knows it, the slightly less regal-sounding Thames. In Oxford, however, she's the Isis, and her waters have seen more drama, commerce, and sheer eccentricity than most stretches of English river. Forget your mighty ocean liners. The Isis has always been more about the leisurely and occasionally chaotic bumble of barges and the frantic splash of student oars. Rewind to medieval times, and the Isis was less a scenic backdrop and more a muddy, bustling motorway. Imagine a 14th century barge captain navigating his precious cargo of wool or grain towards London, only to find his path blocked by yet another miller's weir. Getting through these flash locks was an event. A gate would open, unleashing a mini tsunami, either propelling your vessel downstream at alarming speed or requiring a team of weary men and perhaps an ox or two to haul it upstream against the torrent. It was less sailing, more controlled chaos with a high risk of losing your hat. Unsurprisingly, by the 16th century, traffic had dwindled. Who needs stress when you can just use a slightly less boggy road? Then came the 17th century revival. The Oxford-Burcot Commission rode to the rescue, swapping those watery roller coasters for proper civilized pound locks. By 1635, a London barge actually reached Oxford, likely to much cheering, flag-waving, and perhaps a celebratory pint of ale. The real boom, though, was thanks to the Oxford Canal in 1790. Suddenly, Oxford was a watery nexus, a grand central station for coal, limestone, and everything in between. Barges became the unsung heroes, delivering the literal fuel for Oxford's growth, probably while dodging stray cows and giving cheeky waves to inquisitive undergraduates. Alas, progress, like an unchecked punt, can be a cruel mistress. The railway arrived in the 1840s, a metal monster gobbling up cargo faster than a student devouring a late-night kebab. The commercial bustle faded, replaced by the gentler chug of pleasure boats. Today, the Isis is less about cargo and more about crew. She's the spiritual home of Oxford University rowing, a watery arena where young men and women, clad in impossibly tight lycra, propel impossibly narrow boats with fierce determination. Her banks echo with the rhythmic grunts of row, 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 and the urgent shouts of coxswains. The most intense traffic jams now involve 8-oared shells jostling for position during torpid or eights week, a spectacle of athleticism, tradition, and the occasional glorious crab when an oar gets stuck, leading to a comedic capsize. So, while the commercial heyday of the Isis is long past, her spirit lives on. From medieval cargo to modern college rivalries, she remains a vibrant, if sometimes comically competitive, waterway, a true artery of Oxford life.